Welcome to Downey Park. We're here today with the Minister for Sport, Steve Dixon, for some exciting news. Minister, what's the good news today? What's happening here today?
Well, always to be good here at Downey Park, particularly with the hockey group, because I know what a great job they do, and there's just so many young girls and women being involved in hockey, which is just a great tick in the box as far as our government is concerned. But today we're here to drop a cheque for just a little bit less than $74,000 that is going to deliver some great outcomes for this area. It's going to put some undergrounding watering facilities in, and it's just another little tick in the box about those necessary pieces of infrastructure so the club continue to grow and prosper and get more young people, young boys and girls, involved in sport.
Minister, we've got more than 3,000 women and girls who participate in hockey in Brisbane and 1,500 men and boys. What do you think about that in terms of participation?
Well, I'll tell you what it says to me. It kind of puts you way up in the pecking order as far as necessary funding for the future. It places you in a position where our government is very supportive of more girls and young women being involved in sport. And I know here today that I found out from the club management that you've actually predominantly got more girls and women that actually play hockey than boys. So boys, pick your game up, you need to join the club, and girls, keep doing what you're doing because you're doing a fantastic job, and we want more girls and women involved in sport. So I want to see what it looks like next year.
Can't argue with there. We'd love to see more women and girls involved, but our facilities are certainly outdated. You were saying that your sister used to play here in the 60s.
She did.
Yeah.
But it made it very exciting, actually. It brings a lot of memories back to me. Like, I'm well and truly over 50 now, and my sister's a little bit older than me, but we moved to Brisbane in 1968, and this was the predominant sporting area in Brisbane for netball at that particular time, and I know hockey was around as well, but I played hockey, she played netball, and we all love sport.
And we still do. Since 1959 we've been here with softball and netball, and we're still here. So
well, I think you should be very proud of yourselves, and I think the club itself is doing an outstanding job, and you need to keep in touch with Rob. Rob is your local representative, and I tell you what, he's doing a really good job as far as the government is concerned, but when it gets down to funding for your local area, Rob is the bloke to have a bit of a talk to.
Yep.
He's your local member, and I know regularly he's always on my back in Parliament. He comes up behind me and goes, Steve, I need some funding my electorate for hockey, or
Yep.
Steve, I need some funding my electorate for some other sport. He never ever stops, so I've got to give him a good tick in the box. He's representing his community.
Minister, can you just give us a bit of an outline on how Get Started is helping families lower the cost of sport?
Well, it is a really great initiative we put into play about 3 years ago. The first year we put this out, there's 40,000 grants of $150 so young people can join sporting clubs. And just to give you an indication, the take-up on a regular basis is up to 80% of families are using healthcare cards, and they're predominantly the people we're targeting. But the first year, 24% of the people who took these vouchers up had never played team sport. The second year was 30% across the board. This year, it's 38% of kids who have taken up those vouchers would never have ever had the opportunity to play team sport. And I've had mums ring me up crying, thanking us because they've said, we've got 6 kids and our daughter couldn't play netball or our daughter couldn't play hockey. This made the difference, and I'm very, very proud of a policy that I believe is giving so many people the opportunity to become involved in sport and be fit and healthy young people from here into perpetuity. Big impacts today with obesity. You know, kids aged between 5 and 15 years of age, 23% of them are being diagnosed with obesity, and it leads to heart disease, kidney disease, liver disease and diabetes. So this is making a big difference in children's lives. Robert,
you grew up in this local area in Wilston, so Downey Park has probably always been, to a degree, home to you. Have you got any thoughts on the park?
Yeah, absolutely. My family's lived here since the late 60s, and I grew up here. I grew up on these very fields, actually. I used to ride my bike and play with my brothers regularly, and now we all still live here. So seeing Downey Park grow, seeing women's sport grow, seeing these facilities grow is something that's really important to me as a local member and also as a local resident. I've done everything I could have in the last 2 years to support all of my local clubs, but in particular supporting local women's sport has been something of a particular focus of mine and will continue to be so in the future. It's so important that we get our young people out playing and involved and active, and this is a very unique facility, being a women's only facility, and I'm really proud to be able to come here today and support you with some checks.
We're not aware that there's any other sporting female precinct like this in the country. Maybe even the world. We'll go that far in our plan for world domination. At approximately 14 hectares. We've got the 3 largest regional associations in hockey, softball and netball in the state, so we're leading associations in that regard. Been here since 1959, and the buildings have been here since 1959 as well. We did an actual calculation which surprised even us. 20,000 women and girls use this park every year, but we could grow that to 50,000 if the facilities were upgraded to national or international standard for each sport. And each sport doesn't have any what we would call contemporary playing surfaces. So for hockey it's a synthetic surface, for netball it's indoor wooden floors, for softball it's international skin diamonds. Quick summary there, wooden sheds which we've taken you through past some of them. None of the sports can cater for mobility impaired or disabled people. We can't get, because we're up high, to get away from water, we can't get, even some of our life members have trouble with the stairs, and they're our ongoing volunteers. They've been here for 30, 40, 50 years, and they still partake in the activities, so you want them to be able to be part of this on a Saturday. And the lighting needs upgrading. We can't use the facilities at night. I think yours probably is the best, and even it's not up to standard. We basically need miners' lights. We can't play our top 5 divisions here because they want synthetic surface. Contemporary hockey is played on the synthetic surface. We've got 5 of them. There's 2 at Comesley at the State Hockey Centre, 1 at Chermside, 1 at Comesley and 1 at Redcliffe. So that's 40% of our members who cannot access this park, and it also means that the little kids never ever get to see the elite players in the competition playing the sport. We need additional fields to grow our competition. We're basically at limit, certainly in terms of our synthetics. We can't put any more on the synthetics that we've got, and we need to upgrade them to keep that participation going. In New South Wales, the guideline of players to synthetics is 1 synthetic to every 300 registered players. We're at 1 at 1,000. The dream is, if you look out here, you will look at 1 synthetic. 1 synthetic here. We will put a 1 to 1.2 metre bund wall around it, which will, at Budrum. Usually they are earth bunds, but we don't have the room here for earth bunds because it would cost us a field sideways and a field north. It would be a concrete besser with a fence just beside it or on top of it. That'll protect us from a Q5, and any other event will just overflow it. We're lucky here, the water comes up and down. It's not riverine, it's not riverine flooding like Bundaberg and Warwick had, where it trashes the carpet. But we still could be up for more expensive replacement costs, but we're aware of that and our business plan factors that in.
And the fields are sided that way because that's the way the council is happiest as far as the floodwater flow.
That's not our preference. Our preference is 2 fields side by side.
Yeah, so you can have it back to back.
Yeah, but council don't like that for amenity purposes. Interestingly, we went to pre-DA a few months ago, thinking that we had all the boxes ticked on landfill and flooding, and they hit us with amenity. They didn't want the park cut off. So they've now said, they actually wanted us at the northern end of the park, and softball don't want us there, and we don't want to be there because we want to use this facility. We don't want to have to duplicate this. So what we need, what we're asking for, we've put in a Get Playing Plus for this, and possibly an election commitment as well, is $4 million for the 2 turfs. A normal turf is about 1 to 1.2 million on virgin ground, but we've got landfill and flooding issues here, so that's going to increase our costs. We're doing some drilling on Thursday and Friday of this week, which will give us an idea of what's under the surface, and we've had to pay for all of that. Council's not contributing to that at all. We'll have invested probably $50,000 before we even go to DA on this, with no contribution from council. But we need our facilities and we have to get this moving. And we'll also be looking for a $2 million upgrade of facilities to get our disabled access. And we'll point that, well, some of that $2 million in the next dot point is we can actually share a lot of our facilities, hockey and softball, together, because any amenities that we put on the park is a dual effect. Works for everybody. Yeah. The only thing that would be totally selfish is the synthetics. Anything else works for both sports. So you get 2 shots at your money there.
Well, I think it is great that the 3 clubs have actually come together to put a program forward that is going to grow the opportunities for this area, entice more people to come to it. But I'll be brutally honest, I've looked at the kit that's here. It is old, it's dated, and it does need upgrading. I've been the Minister for 2.5 years. The Newman government continues to fix, to increase participation and to deliver better infrastructure. I see the need. We've just got to solve some of the big financial questions in Queensland, an $80 billion debt. We can get through that. I'm sure that we can deliver great infrastructure in the not too distant future.